What's going on, guys? It's your girl, Eboni Elle, and I'd like to officially welcome you to the Legacy Lounge. This is episode 1 of our relaunch. The Legacy Lounge is dedicated to touching on all facets, all walks and areas of our lives to build legacy. And in light of Valentine's Day and this very, very, very special relaunch, you're joined by the girls. I've got Shan and Kayla here with me. Um, they are one really big creators in the city, but most importantly, today we're just here to have a girls chit chat. Now, mind you, if you're somebody that's tuning in and you're like, yeah, I'm onto the gal thing right now, you're going to want to watch because there's two sides of this conversation. And remember, it's focused on dating, which I've heard the dating scene in Toronto is interesting. For me, married, so different. But we're going to get into all of that. Before we do, let's have the girls introduce themselves. Shan, tell the audience, if they don't know you already, who are you?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Shan. Professionally, I work in the insurance industry. Creatively, I am the founder of Shan Elevated, which is a platform for women just to promote growth, elevation, and self-improvement.
I love that. Kay?
Hi everyone. My name is Kayla. I'm a marketing professional in the beauty space. I do social media management. I also am a creator. I create wellness, beauty, lifestyle content to inspire women to be their best selves.
Okay, so now that you met the girls, let's get into chit chat. We are going into Valentine's Day 2026. And I was just thinking about like the dating scene, finances as a couple, both of you right now are looking. So I want to know, if you were to describe the Toronto dating scene in one word, what word would you choose?
Jump scare.
What?
Jump scare. It's crazy out there. I use the term jump scare because honestly, you just don't know what to expect. It's very unpredictable. But with that being said, I do believe that there should be a level of optimism when dating. You know what I mean? Because if you're just going to think negatively, you're just going to attract negative relationships. So, and who's to say? You might meet a guy who's into you, but because of your trauma, you have PTSD, you're scared. So you might block your blessing. So I still feel like you should still be optimistic, but Toronto it's rough. It's rough.
You almost got real tears from me on that one. I was not expecting that. Kayla, what would be your word?
My word is treacherous
Oh.
because it's rough out here. Similar to what you said, I think everybody's just so heartbroken and projecting that heartbreak in dating, right? It translates. So I think everybody's just protecting themselves. Nobody wants to get hurt. And nobody wants commitment as well. I think people still do, but that's also another coping mechanism, running away from commitment, wanting to wait and see where things go and expecting someone to bend over backwards before you can really trust them. So yeah, I'd say dating scene isn't too great right now.
Not too great. Okay. So when dating, right? And I think I've also heard Black men say the same thing, oddly enough, because I've spoken to some Black men who are dealing with some trauma and they're like, nah, the last one really did my head in. And so when it comes to core dating qualities, intentionally looking for a partner, what makes them good for you?
For me, I need a man who values respect. Respect is important to me. How you talk to me, how you talk to others, how you move around me, that is very important for me. Someone who knows how to communicate, someone who's emotionally available, because a lot of men these days are emotionally unavailable. And I would say for myself, because, I'm a part-time comedian, humor. I need to laugh. Life is too serious. So yeah, I love to joke around. Me and my man have to have a little banter and whatnot. You can't be too serious, So I think for me, that's what I would say.
I vibe with that.
Yeah, respect is actually number one for me because I feel like respect translates into every aspect of your relationship and how you treat your partner and others. Ambition is a very big thing for me. I'm a go-getter, so I need someone who's also the same. And someone who's kind. I need someone who's going to treat me right.
I like that. I like that. Now, ambitious was said, respect doubly, kindness, humor. So I think that for everyone watching, you may be watching and thinking like, what am I top 3 things. You know, like I know for me, the one thing I loved about Marjan in the very beginning is I need somebody who, if we put on some skanking suit, you know how to throw foot. I need it because we can't be in a space with you not throwing your foot. We can't be in a space where something is coming on and you don't even know the music. Like, so I think that to me was something that was really important. Respect, of course, too. And humor. Like I do agree with humor. And I think in respect, I mix that in with kindness. Like, you know, you have to respect and be kind. But I think like that humor bit, because life is so, so serious. But the ambition piece is what we're going to tap into today, too, because ambition can be defined a lot of different ways. And I think that what makes the dating scene so hard, from what I've heard from both sides, I'm an advocate of both sides, okay? Sometimes. But I've heard that there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on women, right, to have certain levels of ambition, to bring certain things to the table, sometimes an overdependence as well. And then on men, there's also a heavy overdependence on like, what do you bring to the table? You know, women are like, I can't drive. Can you drive? You must drive. Right. So it's tough. And I feel like people are navigating that pressure. So for you, when it comes to money, mindset, compatibility, what would you say are your financial non-negotiables when dating?
My man needs to be generous.
Say that again.
What does that mean?
Like, you can't be stingy.
Express more. Like, what do you mean? Like you mean you want me to buy you coffee in the morning?
He has to not be afraid to spend money on me. So when it comes to dates, going out, gifts, that sort of thing. And it's translated like both ways, right? It's not that I expect you to just spend on me and I won't do anything. I definitely, when I love someone, like I spend my money too. So it needs to be generous both ways.
Go ahead.
I think a man with a plan is the main for me, right? I don't mind if you spend money. I don't mind if you have your little parlays and you do a little betting and everything, but make sure that you allocate certain funds for certain things. You understand? Like, I'm not really into the whole impulsiveness. But I would most importantly, I want a man that I could make a life with. I want to build with him. So if we said in the next 5 years, we're going to buy our house, our dream house and all these things, we are going to we are going to make certain sacrifices so that we can attain that house. So don't come home telling me you just bought a Ferrari or you just bought this. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So for me, as my man, I'm looking at you as my leader. So make sure that you have a plan, we have a plan, and that we're following suit with our plan.
I like that. Your answers are actually complementary in that I can understand both. When me and Marjan first started dating, and it was like very early, right? Like we started dating, and I remember we just went to chill, and we just went to like, I think it was like a coffee shop. And Marjan was like, yeah, let me grab this for you. And I was at that time strong, independent Black woman, daughter of a hardcore Jamaican. I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I could buy it. I could do this. And I remember him just being like, why aren't you letting me buy like the little things for you? And I realized that on the one hand, we're in this weird time where there was a point where women wanted to be so independent that they didn't let their men help, not while dating, not in marriage. And it's because we were taught to be hard, right? Like a lot of us are daddy's girls, especially like Caribbean women. Like, you're taught to be hard. Your dad literally prepares you for the worst. You don't need to depend on no man, right? And then
We're taught your vex money.
yes, exactly, right? So you're always preparing for the worst, which means that it doesn't allow you to be soft. But we're also balancing this era of softness, where some of the girls, them too soft. Them can't cook, them can't clean. Them not look nothing.
And very entitled.
Right. So it's like balancing both. And I think both of your answers offered the perfect balance. So when it comes to building together, a hot take, a lot of Black men say women don't want to build anymore. Okay. So when we say things like we want somebody who we can build with or who's not afraid to spend their money, what does that actually mean for you? What's your opinion on the whole women don't want to build anymore?
For me, I'm open to building with my man. That's ideal, right? That's something that I would strive for. However, some men are not open and willing to be building with a woman. And I've been in situations before where I was, talking to somebody, dating someone, and they weren't where they wanted to be. And then there's me, Miss Ambitious. Oh, you got this. I'm trying to motivate you. I'm trying to make you think positive. But because you're not where you want to be, you're seeing me as challenging you too much, or you might feel like less of a man, right? So then you're not open to receiving my help, right? And you start lashing out on me because you're not in the position that you want to be in. So if I'm going to be building with you, it has to be a mutual thing, right? We have to know each other's positions and actively work towards one common goal. I'm not going to be trying to build you, and you're just acting mean towards me and distant and all these things. Like, just go on and do your thing. Just leave me be. Because what ends up happening is you're continuously pouring into somebody else. Who's pouring into your cup?
No one.
Your cup is empty. So, I'm open to it. It's something I would want to do, but I feel like with anything in a relationship, things need to be mutual, right? Even if you don't have no money, you can still pour into me. You can find means to pour into me, So I'm into building with a man, but
just no ego. You don't want ego. I think it's like coming together, dropping ego, and working together towards a common goal.
And you know what? Some men might be intimidated by you.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I've been in that situation multiple times. Right? So, so it's hard. And that goes back to that whole jump scare comment, because it's like, okay, things could be so good. And then he starts going through something and then he starts lashing out at you. I'm like, well, I thought you liked me. I thought we were good. So that's to answer your question. Yes, I want to build, but you have to have certain qualifications.
I like that. Kayla, how about you? What's your take?
I think that a lot of women are still open to building. It's just the experiences that we've had and the things that we've seen other women go through. It kind of deflects us from doing that. I know for me, I've dealt with projection of insecurity from men who weren't doing as well as me. And so it's important that I rather just have my man lead and already be the breadwinner so I can just
kind of enrich.
Yeah, so I can compliment him afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you an example, because I think that this is good, right? And it's two perspectives. That's why, I'm so happy that, these are the girls, because it's two different perspectives. I didn't even know that because I'm just learning. But what I love is that, you're willing to build as long as there's certain qualifications, and the qualifications don't mean you have everything together, but that you have a willingness to build. And your expectation is just that I want you to lead, and therefore to lead, I want you to come in with certain qualities, right? I want you to come in established so that you can lead. So in the situation now that you are building with someone, because I've played Build a Man before, and it's crazy, right? Because that does happen. And honestly, it comes off like we're nagging sometimes, which it does. You're like, oh, you got to do this, because at some point you're fed up too. You're like, okay, I'm putting my all into this person. I'm seeing them as who they could be, and they're not unlocking that potential. And sometimes, to be honest, there's men who are also doing this for women, who are looking at their women who are like, you don't really have to work or do anything, but be ambitious, do something, and it becomes we're like, well, why are you nagging me? I'm just kind of cooling. So let's say that you're building with a partner. They lose everything, right? You guys have your wealth, it's developing, and now there's a loss. They don't have any more money. They're starting from square one. What is your response? How do you navigate that?
For me, I would say my response would depend on their response, how they're taking the situation. I feel like once I know their position, I can now say, this is where my position, and this is how I'm going to aid, and this is how I'm going to assist. If I'm dating somebody and there's already a rapport, we've been on dates, we've done things, we're on a few trips, and he loses everything, I'm not just going to leave you, right? Now, if we're getting to know each other and deuces, you know what I mean? But I don't have no time for that. But for me, I'm not going to leave you right when you're going through the most. For me, being broke is a mindset. So just because you're having a hard time right now doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. Everything's temporary. So yeah, I wouldn't leave, but my response would be catered to how his response is. Yeah. And then I can help him from there.
I think that's really important too, because I think that somebody's response, I was talking to somebody, a friend of mine, and he was dating his girlfriend for about a year, not even. And he's like, I'm going to pop the question. I said, whoa, hold on, wait. And he was like, Ebony, I think you just know she's the one. And it's not about the individual. It's about the fact that I believe that when you're with a person, you don't quite get to know that person until you start to get to know them through financial hardship, actually. Right. And so then I met her and she was like, yeah, like, I'm just hoping he's going to ask me. And I was like, right now, you're used to a certain lifestyle. You're used to somebody who has an income, who's in sales, who's making great money. I said, how do you respond if he stops? I said, like, what are your expectations of him if he were to lose his job? She's like, I don't know. I said, because you don't know the answer to that, you can't get married because you're going to be tested. And now he needs to know how you respond to now you guys being broke. And you need to know how he responds to how that situation can impact. So I think this is really, really important. Kayla, how about for you? Like, you're with this person, everything is good, money is great, immediate lifestyle change, starting from square one. How do you respond? Okay.
Yeah, no, so I have to agree. Definitely how he responds to the situation is important, because with any hardship that you go through in life, you have to know how to pivot and work through the situation, right? Even though I do want someone to come established, I should also be there to be
supportive.
Yeah, I should also be supportive in those hard situations as well, right? So it's not a matter of, like you said, like, you're broke now, like, I'm going to leave. We just work through it and then we see where things go.
I think this is so important because there are a lot of women who at that point, I actually heard of this story, right? And the guy is making all the money. She's managing the finances, so she's putting money aside. So she has her own savings. He goes broke, he loses his job. She's not using that side money to help pay the bills or anything because she's like, you got to just figure it out. And then she leaves. And I think that it's not wrong for somebody to want to do that, I guess, if they have their reasons. But I think when you're truly building with a person and we think about finances isn't always the dollar amount in your bank account, right? Because like how you guys said, somebody can take a huge L. Like, we have a friend that we work with, and he was like, 2025, 2024, he took $100,000 loss, almost 200,000. So is that going to change lifestyle? Yes. Are some bills going to be paid, missed? Yes. But the mindset of that isn't gloom and doom. Oh my gosh, I'm broke and I can't do nothing. And now she has to do everything. It's okay, boom, I took an L and how do I come back from it? And that tells you everything about your partner. So I think that's really, really huge. And I think for men who are looking for qualities in a woman, these are the questions that have to be asked. Because somebody can say like, oh, like my brother-in-law would say, like, some women is like, they want so much and they have a checklist. And it's true. A lot of women are coming with a full checklist. And if you ask them to fill out the checklist themselves, it's only 3 boxes and check, But like at the same time, somebody can be high maintenance and have high expectations, but also answer this question the way that you guys just did and say like, I wouldn't leave high and dry. Like, I can also hold my own, right? I just want you to lead. Or I want you to come in so that I'm comfortable and I'm safe to feel soft, right? So
I think also you have to be mindful of how you navigate throughout that situation with a man that you're interested in, because men have it hard as is,
yeah,
right? So you're that one person that he may be vulnerable with. And men don't really typically like to talk about finances with women. And if you make him feel low or down because of his situation, that could really mess with a man's ego. So I think it's also important with how we, communicate during that time. Although we may be disappointed, the support is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's important. As my mom or my grandfather would say, sometimes women have to jump around. And it's true. Jump around means like, it's like we're in a partnership now, right? A relationship is a long-term partnership, right? And so if something goes wrong, the other person, it doesn't mean if you've not worked for 20 years. Because think about it, like there's some stay-at-home moms who have not been working for like 15 years. They can't just jump around and get a job. They've been out of the market, but they may have a talent. Or they may be able to help him find jobs. Or they may be able to take up a little bit more so he has more time to work a part-time shift or a graveyard shift. And so I think it's just having that openness, right? That willingness to support that's important. So going into that, right? Like we're thinking about like red flags, green flags with dating. So we're going to play a little game. Okay, here's the game. I'm going to give you a real dating or financial scenario from Toronto singles. And you guys are going to decide if it's a red flag or a green flag, and you're going to tell us why. Okay? So the first one is they're They're 35 and still live at home.
I need more context.
Need more context? It's no more context than this. They're 35, they live at home, you're just starting to meet them, you met them, things are going good, but you find this out, like 35 living at home. Red flag or green flag?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No, because I feel like everyone's situation is a little bit different, right? Are you 35 and you live with your mom and your mom's sick? Okay, I get that. Are you 35, you're saving, you know, you're working towards getting a big crib, but you're just staying with your family to save money? I'm okay with that. I think everything is just kind of, it's just based on your circumstances and your situation, right? Also, am I 35 and am I living at home, or do I have my own place? Like, these are things you need to consider. A lot of times in dating, women say he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that, he doesn't have that. But what do you have, right? So I'm not going to judge you based on your circumstances. My question to you is, what is our plan next few years? Do you want me to go downstairs in your mom's basement? What am I doing that for? Are we going to do it and save money for a down payment for a house? Like, I'm okay with stay down till you come up, but at the same time, it has to make sense, right? So, and also depends on the relationship I have with his mom and stuff like that, right? But ideally, a woman doesn't want a man who lives at home. But my question is, what are the reasons behind that?
Yes.
What's the reason?
Okay. Okay, what's your explanation?
I'm going to say red flag. Based on what you said, I think by the time I'm 35, I live on my own now. Definitely when I'm 35, I'm still going to be on my own and doing my thing. So I'd say I need someone who has their independence.
Yeah. Okay. So,
What do you think, Ebony?
I think I agree. Like, I agree with both. I think it like just depends on where you are. If I was living alone and dating, I would love to have somebody that has their own spot, but I already have my own spot. So it's okay. But if you're at home playing 2K until 6 a.m., then that's a problem. Like, I need to know what it is. I also think that in Toronto, real estate is expensive. So it's really hard, like rent and real estate. It's really hard for somebody to just be on their own, doing their own thing, because they may be living alone with roommates, you know, and that, to be honest, can sometimes be worse than them just living at home, because a holipa, and you're in this situation, drawers everywhere, dishes everywhere, and it's not them, right? So I feel like that Toronto is just a unique place because it's like New York. Like, it's expensive here. And people are busy trying to get it and trying to save. But because everything is so expensive, things take a lot longer. So I think it would just depend. Like, I agree. It depends on the situation, and it would depend on my situation. Like, if I was living with roommates that I didn't like, and now I'm looking to build with somebody and they live with a family that I don't like, well, that's a problem, right? So I think it's everything that I'd have to consider. Yeah. Okay, our next one is, they won't tell you what they do for work, but they travel a lot.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag. What?
I call you like, oh, I'm OT. Are you crazy? No, it's not. That's not a thing.
Do I need to give an explanation?
No, you don't have to. I think honestly, like,
Be for real.
I had a, this is a long time ago, very long time ago, but I had an ex that used to be like, yeah, I'm OT. I'm like, okay. You know that thing where it's like, you know, every good girl wants like a bad boy, and you're like, oh, there's like a mystique to it. And then like this guy would be OT and then comes back and be like, can I borrow $20?
That's crazy. What is going on?
It's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag. And I think it's a red flag because it's suspicious, but also, why don't you want to tell me what you do for work when what you do for work or what you do for business is inherently who you are? Like, you can't tell me something is just off entirely.
Yeah, and I don't really want to be associated with you.
No.
Because next thing we go out to eat and there's people, no. I'm assuming it's a red flag for you.
Oh yeah, I seen you in that one video. What do you do?
No.
Okay. They asked to split the bill on the first date.
Red flag.
Red flag.
No.
That would be the first and last date. I'm sorry. I don't have time for that. How are you to invite me on a date and we're splitting the bills? You can't pay for my one little mimosa and white chocolate rum? Not the white chocolate.
Oh, wow. Sees plug. It's crazy. Okay, I think that's...
I did have a guy one time. He asked, I guess it was a date. he paid for the dessert and then he said I could tip. And I tipped. But like I didn't just pay everything. Why am I like I have to go in my bag and take out some coins and no man, just pay it, just handle that.
Just I think this is a good point because I think it's the same because so to advocate for the man them, there's women who'll be like, oh, like I think we should go out. And then the bill comes and they're like, I think you should handle it. And I think that's crazy because you asked if we can go out. You asked if we can get a drink. But what's unique about this situation is somebody could really like you and want to take you out, but maybe they put their debit card in that machine and it just bounced. Maybe they're an overdraft and they didn't realize. Is it like listen, you shouldn't be out.
Yeah, but I still feel like you should be prepared to some capacity, right? And even the whole like, oh, the girl invited the man out. Why didn't the man ask the girl beforehand? Oh, so are we like? Why can't we have that conversation prior to? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna ask no man out, but I'm just saying like a conversation would have eliminated that whole awkwardness at the end, right?
You know, when they come with the thing and they're just looking at like who's having for this?
Yeah, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure the man was thinking about splitting the bill before he even got to the restaurant. So, no, you know what I mean?
It's true. I like it. Okay. The next one is they ask what you make early in the dating stages.
Red flag.
Red.
Yeah. Don't worry about my finances when we just started talking.
But okay, so would you ask somebody, like let's say it's date number 2. Do you have questions about how much he makes?
The second date?
I mean, you can gauge generally what somebody makes based on what they tell you they do, right? So that's usually the benchmark for me.
You'd be on Glassdoor. You're like, he said he's an IT technician. He is making on average $55K to $80K.
Exactly.
But I'm asking you early. I think what's unique is sometimes there are some types of people who are like in their life, they are very systematic, very strategic. And honestly, they usually fall on this spectrum of social awkwardness, like a little bit. So they're direct. And they meet you and it's like date 2 and they know like, okay, boom, this is the one. But before I know you're the one, I need to know if our finances align. Like there's some people who are very direct like that. And I think for all people, I mean, I don't even ask an employer. You know, when you're going for an interview and you're in the interview, most of us don't be like, so how much does it pay again? You wait, you know? So I feel like that to me is a red flag unless it's somebody you're redating. Like we've talked in the past. I know things about you. We're kind of reconnecting, rekindling, and now we're talking about building. But the scary thing is that having those discussions in the very early stages, to me entirely is like, I feel like it's just moving too fast.
Yeah, you ruined the experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to see how much you can afford so that they don't have to do so much for you. I feel like that's where it comes
Because of qualification.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm not into that. I'm sorry. I don't really like when guys ask. I like conversation. I don't like interrogation. I don't want a guy, oh, this, that, this, tell me this. No, like, let's have a conversation and get to know each other. 9 times out of 10, if you just observe, a lot of things are revealed to you. But for me, I remember one time there was a guy, out of the blue, he texted me and he's like, so do you save your money or do you shop on Fashion Nova every day? Buddy, who told you to even shop at Fashion Nova? We never even had that conversation, you know? So I'm like, whoa. And he's like, well, you know, I'm grown, so I'm built a little different. And it just turned me off because it's just like, you're just making assumptions. And guess what? I work hard for my things. So if I want to go to Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, and spend my money, I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like when men watch women's money too much either. Let me do what I want to do.
But they don't like when we watch their money too hard either too. So it's like a fine balance. But I think at this stage, for men or for women, I think that's just too early.
I agree.
I think it's too early. Okay, the next one says they say they're entrepreneurial but don't have consistent income.
Define entrepreneur.
Like they're entrepreneurial, like they have business ideas, they're jumping around and doing little things, but they don't have a consistent income.
Do they have a clientele?
This does not share that.
I would need to know that. I mean,
What if it's just that they have the mindset, like they're entrepreneur minded and they're always starting little businesses here and there, but they just aren't consistently making any income?
Red flag. They can't stick to one thing. You're all over, like, you got to perfect something first and then you move on to the next project.
So when dating an entrepreneur, you're looking for somebody who has, like, if they have multiple businesses, but they have like established at least one business that they're working on, they're consistent, focused on, right? But if you have that person, and let's say in that situation, their income's just not consistent. 1 month they make $10,000, and that's the first $10,000 and the last that they made in the first couple of months of the year. Is that okay?
Well, that's expected when you're an entrepreneur. It's never going to be stable, right? So yeah, I would say
it depends. I think you have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
If my guy is a photographer and he has peak seasons where he makes more money than others, then okay. But is he saving his money? Because you can have a slow month, but you can still have money in the bank. So because you had a slow month, I'm gonna be like, no, we can't talk. No, that's foolishness to me. So I think it just depends on the situation. If you have a stable income or situation, I can work with that. But if you're all over the place doing this, oh, I want to do vending machines, I want to do that. No, man, I don't have time for that. Figure out what is going on.
Okay, wait, let me add one more to this because I just thought of it. And actually, when I was in like high school, I used to see this all the time and it used to make me sick. They're entrepreneurial, but their main source of income is government funding.
No.
Why is your face straight? Why is your face straight?
what do you mean by government funding?
I was just like OWEI,
Oh, no.
disability.
I'm like, are you talking about grants?
I'm not built for that. I'm sorry. He can do that on his own.
Gone. So this is our last one. They're financially stable, so they're accomplished, they're bringing everything to the table, but they're emotionally inconsistent.
Red flag.
Red flag. I need a man who's emotionally available. I can't do the emotionally unavailable life. I can't. I'm not built for that. I need a man who's present. Not overly sensitive, but
But just
present.
so, Kayla, for you, looking for somebody who's established. When the guy is established, let's say he's working hard. He's pulling late nights. He's working weekends. He's flying here and there. He's tired. Is the fact that he's established and bringing things to the table enough? Or is it that you're looking for somebody who may not bring as much to the table, but they can offer both?
He needs to value other things as well, like especially when it comes to family and community and that sort of thing, because you can work yourself, but you're not going to be happy if money is just everything to you, right? So definitely, I would say, yeah, there needs to be balance between the two.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so that was red flag, green flag. And in the comments, make sure that you let us know, like, what are your red flags? What are your green flags? What are your takes, right? Remember that these are just opinions. And I think that people can build from anything. I believe in truly building from the ground up. That's if we have nothing, we're gonna start a fire. Like, I think of relationships as being in the forest. See, what's that thing called, Naked and Surviving or whatever it's called? Like, being in that situation, right? You have literally nothing. We're gonna find the twigs. We're gonna position the sun right. We're gonna find a piece of glass and we're gonna start that fire together. Because I think that then there's no entitlement when things are built. Because to be honest, if I'm a man and I make $200,000 a year and I'm in this relationship now, beautiful lady on my arm, she never made that money. So at the end of the day, I feel like I can move any way that I want because it's me. I bought your clothes. But I'm just saying, like, like for some of the people in some of the conversations I've seen, I'm almost like, what is it that you want? Are you trying to be Summer Walker? The old man in a wheelchair? And that makes you happy? Maybe, right? Are you trying to be like a Sierra and a Russell Wilson? You just happen to have wealth and you guys are willing to pull it in together? Or are you trying to be a city girl? I don't know. But the point is that it impacts how people move, right? Because if you build something together, you guys both have the equal sense of entitlement. Like, we both built this, When things get a little bit tough and somebody's feeling a bit disrespectful, which happens, right? It's like we're both in the same situation. Like, we're both coming from the same place. So I like this. Okay, now I would say going into a new year, new standards. In 2026, what have you changed about how you date? What's your strategy, your boundaries, your pace?
Kayla, you want to go first?
Something that I've changed for this year is just being intentional with who I'm dating and who I'm spending my time with. Even when like we're not doing the talking stage for months on end, like I need to know that there's assurance, and any sort of inkling that I get that you're not serious about me or you don't want to take things to the next level eventually, you're getting cut off.
Yeah. Shan, how about you?
For me, I would say not forcing things.
Yeah.
I think right now where I'm at, my main focus is building me and building my relationship with God. So I just feel like as I continue to do that, God will align me and put me where I need to be. And we'll see.
I love that. He's going to see you on Sunday morning in the pews. I love that. Okay, this is perfect. I think this is important because, I mean, like Marjan and I are going on 2 years of being married. And we've been together all of like 11, almost 12 years as of this year, right? And it's a lot of growth because you're young, you're going through different things, like you're literally growing together. And that's why I value this conversation so much, because I think what we miss in Toronto is the time to like germinate. I think that everybody's microwaving chicken right now. They just go to Walmart, they wash off the chicken, and they're putting it in the microwave like it's TikTok. And they forget that it takes marination, it takes seasoning, and it takes long cooking to make it something edible, delicious, right? And nutritious. And that's what I think about relationships and the feedback that you guys have given. Next time that we do this, I probably might have to feature, one of the mandem too, to add some dynamics. I've been the voice of reason on both sides because I think it's hard for both. There's pressure on both. We have to guard our hearts, especially as we go into a new year. Women, especially Black women, now make a lot more. There's a lot more opportunities given to Black women, and it's another conversation, but some will say there's an agenda for that, right? Why Black women get more, a little bit more, not more compared to their white counterparts, but more compared to their Black male counterparts. That's the way the system is set up. So then you have all these women who are ambitious and who want to build people, but then you have some people who are just ambitious enough to let you build them. And then you build a man, and he's gone. But he may build a woman, and then she does the exact same thing. So I think both perspectives are really interesting. Now, in closing, when you think about building a family legacy in the future, what are the key things you believe your partner should have financially, emotionally, and spiritually?
Spiritually, definitely believe in God. Emotionally, it needs to be very emotionally intelligent and expressive as well. I need you to tell me how we're feeling. There needs to be an open space for communication for us to always know like what's going on with each other. And financially, just always working towards the goal, whatever his aspirations are, whatever our aspirations become once we're together. We need to consistently be working towards that. And that's it.
I love that. Sham.
For me, I would say a God-fearing man, like Kayla mentioned, a man of good character. Character is very important to me, and so is integrity. I feel like if you have good character integrity, we'll be able to raise amazing kids and individuals. Financially, a man with a plan. A man with a plan. I'll work with you as long as you have a plan. But a man without a plan, you can't. Where are you leading me? Where are we going? You know what I mean? So that's what I would say for myself.
I love that. And like I said, as we are in this spirit of Valentine's Day, I think it's important for those who are watching this episode, probably a little bit after Valentine's Day, maybe right before, to reflect on, for singles, Toronto singles, to reflect on what you want. Because maybe not everybody wants a family legacy either. And I think that's what conflates the dating scene here. But reflecting on what it is that you want and then attracting that. Because like you said in the beginning, okay, jump scare, treacherous. But if you continue to think that way, you'll just notice that you're looking at the people who meet those conditions. But when you have that positive outlook, you start to see people who embody what it is that you want to build that legacy. And once you have that conversation and you're like, yeah, our legacies align, it's much easier. And it's a lot of fun. Like, for Marjan and I, it's been a fun track. and it will continue. And this is the thing, like, that at some point there'll be hardships. If I just book a trip, which is my nature, Marjan will drip me up. He'll be like, you can't just be spontaneous. And it's learning, right? Because also coming to a place where I have my finances, he has his finances, you have your goals, he has his goals. Now you have to merge them, and you have to remember that you're a team. So you can't just do a $600 fashion overhaul, because whether it's your money or not, there's a unit. And like you said, like, what is the goal? I get it. It's okay to be a little bit spontaneous, but is it deterring us from achieving our goals? And I think these are the conversations that we still need to have. Maybe we should create Legacy Lounge dating cards. I don't know. And before we leave, so that the audience can connect with you both, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at SSHAAND, Shandy, as well as Shan Goods on YouTube.
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Multifarious K.
Thank you for tuning in for our first episode of the Legacy Lounge. We're super excited to have you meet our other guests. Until then, girls, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
It was a great conversation. And to our audience, be sure to subscribe, lock in, set your notifications so that you can tune in for the next episode. Until I see you again later, take care. Bye.